So the three most important skills I would say is number one, curiosity. Look around the world and listen to lots of different perspectives, not just one point of view. You'll learn more by having people who disagree with you than everyone who says yes and backs you up. So I found that curiosity, listening to other people, and then being willing to collaborate and do something together as a team. If you can work well with others, you'll find that you can achieve much more than you ever could all by yourself. Those are my top three lessons for you.
We go off of something called Hungry, Humble, and Smart, and it's from the book Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni. Um, Hungry is work ethic. You have a drive. You're willing uh, to put in the work, and you want to get better. You want to grow as a young professional. Um, Humble is remaining humble. You know, you're selfless. You're about the team and not yourself. You could care less about personal results and more about what can I do for the team to help us achieve the team goals. And then smart. Smart's not necessarily, we're not talking intelligence here. We're talking more of an emotional IQ, emotional fortitude, a vulnerability, an understanding of how your words impact others, and a social awareness, right? Um, Notice that none of those really are skill sets, right? It's not, hey, we need you to be super efficient in Excel. We believe that if you have the hungry, humble, and smart um, traits, that we can build upon those, build in each sector, hungry, humble, and smart, and kind of empower you to become better in each one of those areas. From there, we can teach you everything else, right? We can teach you how to do Excel. You can
Sure.
YouTube how to, work this software, that software.
Right.
Um, I think that's one thing, we really look for is hungry, humble, smart. And if you got those, we got you the rest of the way.
The top one is probably professionalism. I think it, that can tie into communication, but being professional with an email is not a text message. A phone call is not you know, a tweet. So there's formal communication that at some point becomes really, really pivotal. And I think the sooner you can adopt that in everyday life, the easier that is to transition. I think the ability to be autonomous is really important. That in a lot of cases, free thinkers are going to always be more successful than people that need to be told what to do, and that shows a sense of work ethic. That everybody that I've ever interviewed is a hard worker, but if somebody's able to make a decision and stand behind it, then that's above and beyond, and what's necessary to really advance in any career path. And I think the last one is just enthusiasm. If you have enthusiasm about what you do, uh, people are going to enjoy working with you. Customers are going to enjoy seeing you and spending time with you and buying from you, or whatever your industry ends up being. I think enthusiasm goes a long way and it's contagious. And I think, frankly, if you're not enthusiastic about what you're doing, you're probably not in the right seat. So that's probably my top three.
First and foremost, a strong work ethic. You have to be motivated to work, get in early, be productive, impress your superiors that you're there. You're serious about being the top worker in that particular environment. Secondly, is for me, it was being competitive. I'm a very competitive person, so if I take on a position, I want to be the best at that position. If there are 10 people doing that same job, I want to be number one. And in most of the environments I've worked at, in sales environments, it's pretty easy to see how you're doing. You get paid based on your ability to sell. So I
Hmm.
would say just being competitive is important. And then I think the third thing is just being able to immerse yourself into a team and to be a team player. Several years I won an award with a company that was a Team Player of the Year award, and that was more coveted than the sales awards that I won or the Eagles that you get as a top salesperson, because it shows that you're able to work with other people, People like working with you. You're adaptable. And it just makes the whole team work better when you're able to immerse yourself into a solid team.
So I think the three key traits that people need to come to work or enter the workforce are the first one is dependability. So be dependable. If you say you're going to do something, then do it to the best of your ability. If you show up for work every day, be dependable when it comes to work. The second one is show up. And so when I mean that, I say show up with your whole self. When you show up to work, come to work, be ready to work, put your whole self into work while you're at work. That can have a work-life balance where you have work, life outside of work. But when you're at work, show up and be present at work. And then the third one is be curious. So I would tell you to always be curious, whether it's in work or life or anything, but be curious to how can you improve? Be curious, how can you do something different? Be curious, ask questions about why do we do things a certain way we do, but just always be curious. And that curious mindset will really drive you personally, professionally, and drive the organization that you're working for.
Number one, communication. Absolutely. Verbal and written. Communication will be so instrumental in your ability to be successful. I don't care how good and how talented you are. If you can't kind of communicate, if you can't let anybody else know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, it will not matter. So communication is number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, problem solving. Okay. Learn how to identify the problem, analyze the problem, and figure out a potential solution. Don't have to be perfect, but problem solving, learning how to take an issue, tear it apart, figure out what's going on, and come up with a solution. That's number two. And then number three, at least in my mind, is persistence. Persistence. Don't quit. Don't give up. Stay with it. Right? So many people, I've seen this in business. It don't work the first time. It doesn't work the first time. They stop. They quit. They don't do anything. Come back. Try it again. Come back. Try it again. Come back. Try it again. Okay. I read a survey they did of the 50 unicorns. So we're talking about the CEOs of Google and Facebook and Uber and Salesforce and all of those organizations out in Silicon Valley. And they asked them what they thought were the number one reasons for their success. First thing they said was perseverance, never quit, stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. The second one, interestingly enough, luck, timing, and serendipity.
Well, there is that, right?
That's always a part of life, but luck, timing, and serendipity. So they said, but number one was persistence. Don't quit. Don't quit.